G'day, punters. Welcome to the Sydney preview show without a name yet. We're very, very, very close. Mark Shean, Mark Rhoden. Welcome, lads. How are we?
Good, thanks, Dicko.
Very well indeed.
Now, another major announcement. Prize money is on the up again in New South Wales. The Midways. Mark Shean, thoughts? Did you take it in? Do you care? Do you read? Do you watch? And what do you think?
A bit low on detail what sort of benchmark race it is or what sort of horses it's going to cater for, excuse me. I know punters are participants. I was hoping they were participants, but they didn't get a mention again. So obviously we just got to keep shoveling the money in for them to spray all around the job.
Mark Rhoden, any thoughts?
As Chris Scott said at a press conference during the finals this year, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say I don't really care.
Early start in winter, 10 races.
Yeah, they start before at 11:15 anyway with 9 or something. So
I'd say it'd be like 10:30, quarter to 11, maybe the first.
Terrific.
Wow. Just outside the norm, have either of you two ever bought into a yearling or been to the sales and bought a yearling?
I was quite a victim many years ago. I used to buy about one every year at Easter. So then
at Easter?
Yeah.
At the Easter?
Well, you could buy them then in the old days. You could buy them for about 50 and you could get out of them pretty easy. You could win that on the punt or win a Saturday race, you're out, but a bit different nowadays.
Yeah.
150 a day.
Yeah.
You're going there to buy today, Dicko, are you? I'm
going to go and just have a look, just like out of interest sort of thing. Might head down that path one day, but I want to just run my eye over it, pick it, see what I can learn today. Rhoden, you had any?
No, just slow tried horses have been my specialty thus far. Never ventured into the yearling market.
Well, you never know what's going to happen in the next 2 years. All right, boys. Randwick, Chipping Norton Stakes Day. We're going to preview races 2 to 8 today, punters, which is a big show for us. The rail's in the true. We've got a soft 7 at the moment. Mark Shean, what's the weather been like? What do they predict leading up? This is Friday morning, so we've got sort of 24 hours till we kick off. What do you predict?
Okay, Tuesday night torrential, Wednesday morning more showers, some showers yesterday, but today is like last Friday, absolute scorcher, not a cloud in the sky, so definitely improving track.
Mark Rhoden, how does that play?
I suppose what's it, 7 now, so we could safely assume we'll be up near 5. True position, maybe with a little bit of juice in the track off the fence in the straight, but on light northeasterly only. The strong northeasterly takes leaders, or if not out of play, makes it hard for leaders. If it's only moderate, though, it shouldn't have too much effect. Maybe the classic up and off, but not really going in with any preconceptions.
All right, let's kick off in race 2, the Skyline Stakes, Group 2, 2-year-olds, Colts and Geldings. There's one unraced horse. We've seen the rest of them. Which way are you leaning here, Mark Shean, and why?
I'm leaning with Halal. I thought he trialled really well before he won midweek and overcame difficulties to win there. Admittedly, this is a stronger race, but I thought he came from an almost impossible position when he got held up. He did come down the best part of the track, but liked the way that he had trialled leading into that and liked the way that he overcame a bit of a check-in run. I'm thinking Shakiro might be a touch underdone. The fact that he's running here would suggest to me that he's going to run a week before the slipper as well. So I'm thinking there might be a little bit left in the tank with him. Cap Devant has trialled up really well. Gives me the impression he might be a bit better over 1,400 metres though, but first up 1,200 he should be sweet. But I'm with Halal number 6.
Rhoden? Cochin?
Yeah, I'm not wrapped in Shakiro either, especially at the price. I'm not totally sold on that Magic Millions Queensland 2-year-old form, to be honest. I think what we've seen in Sydney has been stronger on the whole. And if he's underdone, that's just going to make his task even harder to beat. I think Cap Devant's probably a bet at this price. He does look like he wants further, but he was actually able to win over the shorter trip back in the spring. So Mark Wandon, blinkers on, barrier 2. I expect him to be closer in the run than he's been at his 2 starts so far. He got a bit lost in that Golden Gift race on the soft track, his second start. But Yeah, I think he's a great chance in this. I thought Our President was an interesting runner. No, it's Canterbury form, and that's to be treated warily. But the time was good that day, and he ran him along, ran all the time himself. This is obviously a step up, but he could be worth saving on at a price. But I think Captivant is probably a bet, especially seeing he's not favourite.
The Drinkwise Sweet Embrace Stakes, the fillies version, it's a Group 2. It's over 1,200 metres for the 2-year-olds, is race 3. Drinkwise, drink Mountain Goat Lager like I do. Please support the brand. Boys, which do you think's got holds the advantage, Colts or the fillies? First.
I think the Colts myself at the moment, but I think 4 moves ahead. I think she's the best filly in Sydney myself.
Cochin?
Yeah, same. Yeah, same on both. 4 moves ahead's the best filly, but the Colts, such as Stay Inside and a couple of others, are better on what we've seen so far.
Which way are we leaning? So we just basically press the 5 here?
Look, she has had a little bit of a setback, a swollen knee apparently, so I'm not sure if she might have missed a gallop, but maybe she's done some swimming. Look, I had a big bet on her when she won first up. Her trials have been outstanding before she won. Her trial since has been good enough. She's handled wet track to win first up. She's trialled well on the dry as well, so I don't think there's any concern what has thrown up on Saturday. I think it's just if she's underdone, that's the query, but there's been plenty of money for her since the markets went up, suggesting that she's on target.
Barrier 7, no problem here. Mark Rhoden?
No, I think he can go where he wants to, Mark. What do you think?
Ideal draw, I would have thought. Centre gate. What price are we into now? It was 280 yesterday.
270, I think.
Oh, yeah, still 270. Yeah, probably a bet. Setback, that little setback, the only concern. But I think I don't think there's a big enough gap in price between her and She's All Class and Mallory, who are the second and third picks in the market. She's All Class, again, coming down from Queensland. I've said I've got a bit of half a pot on that form. Mallory was good, but not breathtaking first up. The one I'd save on, if anything, is the one with the unfashionable connections, Jamia, who absolutely savaged the line behind that Tillianum over 1,000 metres last time. And got the apprentice on no claim and inside gate traffic, all that sort of stuff. But she was just so good through the line last time. I'd hate to lose on her if she won at double figure odds. But I think 270, 280 is a pretty good price, this thing.
I think well worthwhile getting to the mailbag.com.au and getting Scurry's mounting our mail here. That setback.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure someone like yourself, Mark, you'd be having half your stake on probably now and just confirming that she's 100% sweet when she's moving around the yard there.
Yeah, exactly. And you can probably go to the pink button if you need to, if you don't like the look of it.
Exactly. Race number 4 is a 1,300 metre Group 3 Liverpool City Cup. Boys, Cochin, you kick us off here. What do you like and why?
What do I like? Not much. Not going to be the biggest investment race of the day, I wouldn't think. Map-wise, there's Grey Worm and Discharged are the ones that are going to go forward, and most of the rest don't, to be honest. Of those two, I lean to Grey Worm. Even though he's out to 1,300 metres, I think if he doesn't get attacked by Discharged, I think he'll appreciate a gentle at tempo out to 1,300 than being pressured as he was at 1,100 first up in Melbourne. That said, he's no massive odds. What are the three in the market? It's those two, and Creaderis, who will be out the back. So, yeah, I went to Grey Worm and Discharged over Creaderis because of the map. Of those, I preferred Grey Worm, and the one that's probably a bet is I Am Superman at a bigger price. It won first up last time and has trialled all right, I think, but I'm not hugely enamoured of this race.
Mark Shean, what do you think of the trial, number 3, Deprived? It's had 2 trials, Hawkesbury and then Rose Hill.
Yeah, I thought it was okay, nothing flash. I think I've seen it trial better. I think track pattern will be the most important thing here. We should have established something by now. I was encouraged that Creadira showed a little bit more speed out of the gates in his last trial, so maybe they've been working on that. I think here with 53 kilos, if he can even get up to just past midfield, I think he's got a big enough finish with this big pull in the weights compared to a couple of these others. His run in the Villiers was phenomenal, and I think if he gets even luck in the race with 53 on his back, I'd want to go his way.
Beautiful. Race number 5, the Guy Walter Thoroughbred Stakes. It's over the 400 metres. Fun Star scratched. Graceful Glamour scratched. Wow. Ice Bath. Yeah. Ice Bath. Ice Bath. It's favourite. Mark Shean, what are we doing? I still remember this thing from probably the debut show where we hammered it in the last there, and it was held up badly and just missed.
Yeah, look, this improving track's probably against her somewhat. She still will love this sting out of the ground, but it's not going to be heavy, you wouldn't think, unless we get a downpour in between. I think Sweet Deal sets up nicely here. Doesn't look to be a lot of speed. She's won first up, I think, at the last 2 preparations, both over 1,200, but one of those wins was phenomenal. She did a stack of work and kept going. And she maps beautifully in front here. It looks to be a muddling pace. So I think all things favour her. If you can lead and win on the day, sometimes, leaders are exposed here in the middle of the track and are swamped if the inside's off. But if the track's playing not too bad, I think Sweet Deal. And I think Emeralds is good value. I know the map doesn't favour her, but I thought that was a great run first up at Weight for Age. And she comes back to fillies and mares, excuse me. I think Ice Bath at the current price is a little bit under the odds.
Emerald's trialled since that run at Weight for Age. What do you think of it?
Yeah, trial great. Went out the back, but she went home under her own steam and made nice ground. I thought it was a nice clean out for her.
Beautiful. Gotchin?
Yeah, it does look like Sweet Deal. Nash will just send it forward and try and take control of the race, I assume. I'm going to stick with Tricky Gal, who was on first up, who went close to turning over the $1.30 chance. After a pretty torrid run that day, Rachel King rode it that day, and it was no fault of hers, but it jumped well, but there was nowhere for it to go without leading, and they didn't want to lead, so she ended up going back, and 3 wide. With a bit of it's drawn out again, but I think they could send it forward with very few other horses going forward, apart from maybe Sweet Deal and Helga, and maybe get up 3rd, 4th, and get it to be close enough and get its chance. Sweet Deal will be hard to run down, but I thought that was a great run from Tricky Gal first up. Is this shortened a bit, or was it? No, it's about the same price. I thought Bams on Fire didn't really have much luck. Never really got a crack at him behind Probabeel at Caulfield first up. Hopefully isn't too far away as well. Has some sort of chance. Emeralds, it was one I highlighted after its first up run beyond Sabathiano, but I think it's probably going to be in the last couple in a pretty slowly run race. So I'll and agree that Ice Bath's a bit short. So I'll stick with Tricky Gal and maybe saving on Bams on Fire.
I thought Bams on Fire was enormous first up. That form's proper, and it's double nom though, so it is in Victoria as well.
Too, isn't it? Yeah.
So the usual story, like we just have to sort of wait. But
yeah, they've got McDonald. I mean, they booked McDonald on McDonald here, so.
Yeah, I think Ma Usis is probably going better than McDonald. They can do whatever they want. Well,
okay.
You wouldn't have thought that sort of 12 months ago, but they probably are. Let's head to the big one, Group 1, Weight for Age over the male. $600,000 race this. The Chipping Norton Stakes. All the big dogs. Colding, Avilius, Master of Warren, Very Elegant, Colette, Funstar, Toffee Tongue. Mark Shean, where do we start?
Well, this looks to be an assortment of basically the same horses that ran the other day, and so the pace looks to be fairly similar, with Colding and Prince Farwas going at probably a moderate tempo. Look, if the track improves here, Colding is probably the one to be on. If the track gets to about a 4 or a 5, I think he's in the right position to win. If the track's racing more like a 6 or a 7, I'd want to be on Colette. I don't see why Very Elegant is so much shorter than Colette at the moment in the betting. Admittedly, Very Elegant did plenty wrong the other day, but she's going to get a similar tempo here. She's not going to get a fast pace unless something defies its normal pattern. So I just can't find her at that short odds against Colette, like 270 and 330. I don't understand that. So as I said, if the track's not too bad, I'm going to back Colding, and against that, if the track's in the 6 or 7 range, I'm going to back Colette.
I think just as a point of reference for anyone watching at home, if you've got a puntingform.com.au subscription, you can see in the basic data, you can get a good understanding to start off your form analysis with a horse like Very Elegant. Every start last prep, it went better than benchmark to the 600. So it went 9.3 first up, 5.7, 3.6, 5.2, 12.1. Fast tempos, which exposed the best horses with a good turn of foot, her. First up this prep, she went 7.3 below the all average, which is incredibly slow. So the good horses like her are dampened. Their ability to put these big races away is really dampened. So Mark Shean saying there, I don't think in this race she's going to see a scenario where she gets to go 7 lengths above the all average to the 600 and they get exposed for their brilliance. This is just going to be a sit and sprint. Where were you in run? And she came home enormously fast first up, but they all did because they walked and it was a group race. Sorry, gotcha.
No, dead right, and that's, a lot of weight for age races to run like that, walk, trot and canter, and then sort of best 400 or 600 metre sprint wins it.
Yeah, and I think just like with the punting form stuff, this is what I did. It's a really simple way for you to understand race shape and puts the numbers. You'll hear Mark Shean, because he's old school and very, very articulate and smart, talk about like the actual numbers. I don't understand what that means. I just know that the benchmark figure here, it's all I need to know. It's a really simple way for you to learn the game. Yeah,
I think Very Elegant's favourite purely and simply off the good old SP profile. Started favourite last time, so same field, it's favourite again. Pretty simplistic approach, but, it's worked over the years, I suppose. I actually give her a chance of turning the tables out to 1,600, but there's no way I'd back her as favourite. The only way I could construct a scenario where I'm on her is if the market takes a set against her and she's out to $4 or something. As it stands, so that suggests I think Colette should be favourite, which I do, but I don't think I really want to take 3, 20 or 30 or either. We got $13, $14 the other day. Don't really need to charge into 330 here. And Colding third up at the Randwick Mile on an improving surface is the one that could beat both of them. But, he's 480, he's around the right price as well. That said, I couldn't really see anything outside the 3 winning, but no bet at this stage if the market wanted to oppose Very Elegant, because the map does look against her compared to the other two. I'd gamble on her, but certainly not at sub $3.
Beautiful. Righto. Race 7, Surround Stakes, 400 metres, Group 1, Fillies race. Montefilia number 1. I still cut about that thing in the Oaks or whatever it was. 400 metres. There's a lot of horses we know well here. There's some horses fresh. There's some horses into their work. Mark Shean, are there any trialers here that you think can compete first up?
No, there's no trialers. I think Miravail's first up, but it didn't trial good enough. So Montefilia's first up. Hasn't been let go, so no real guide. Look, we had this race a couple of weeks ago. What was it? The Light Fingers, where we were all knocking the form, and I'm looking away from that race for the winners. So that gives me Montefilia, Dame Giselle, or La Mexicana. I don't want to be on the Light Fingers form. I think Montefilia at 10-1. I'm going to have something on it for sure. If the track is wet, she ran outstandingly on the Kensington first up on a wet track last time in, and then beat older horses in August as a 3-year-old filly on a wet track as well. La Mexicana is going to get into the right spot. And Dame Giselle, probably a little bit disappointing first up, but they did run fast time in that race. Made a second quicker than the other race over 1,200 on the day. So even though she was a touch disappointing, normally she does improve first up to second up. She's been beaten first up most preparations, but her second up runs are normally a lot better. But at the price, I'm going to back Montefilia, probably save La Mexicana. If Dame Giselle gets to about 5 or 6-1, I'll probably cut out on her, but I couldn't take 480 right at the moment. So 1 and 9 for me.
Scotch and soda.
Well, this is good. We both lobbed on a 10-1 chance. I'm with Montefilia as well. I think she's the best horse in the race. Obviously going to be better at 1,600 metres plus, but just looking at the map, I mean, every row's was handlebars down last time, and she won, so I assume they're going to do something similar. And you think there's other horses will be forward too, like Vangelic and Mexicana won't be far away. It's a big field, so I think the pace should be there to give Montefilia her chance to get over the top of them. And at 10 to 1, just I think has to be backed just on class alone against this mob. I've said a few times how poor I think the 3-year-old fillies division is this year. She's probably overall the best of the lot of them, though, and at level weights with a good tempo, I think she can run really well. Certainly take the point about the Lightfinger Stakes. There was only one good run in the race, I thought, and that was Never Talk, who I was on at 25 to 1 and missed by one stride. But I think at around $9-10, I don't want to be losing on her. I think 1400 probably suits now, as does the tempo. Nothing else from that race interests me. Could consider chopping out on La Mexicana with a good map. And also Forbidden Love. Not great in the Magic Millions, but has one track and trip and is $14-15. So probably wouldn't want to lose on her either. But I think I'll be backing Montefilia for a good win. Contingent on what... Well, I mean, if we get a good push from Rob, it's probably all systems go.
Yeah, it's a good point. This is sort of like his hotspot too, the fillies, the 3-year-olds and that. So definitely worth paying attention, especially when we're not thinking there's a lot to do with form here. I've got just 2 questions. Joviality. Like there was a horse that was like very contentious ride there at Flemington in the spring, and more so Hungry Heart. Like it was a big spruik on this horse. What are we doing with it?
Look, I thought Joviality travelled up well in the run the other day and just didn't let down. So I'm not sure whether that was more to do with the going or not. Hungry Heart, look, I didn't really like the look of her in the coat, so she can probably improve, but she's drawn out in the car park again to go. I don't know what sort of run they're going to give her. She might have to go back and hope for a bit of luck rather than press forward. So she's going to need a lot of luck in the first couple of 100 metres.
Right, the last race we're going to cover on this week's show is race 8. It's a mountain goat benchmark 80 over 2,000 metres. There's a couple of exciting little prospects here, Mark Shean.
Very exciting prospects. Sky Lab, who's put together 3 wins on end. He's a 3-year-old taking on the older horses again. He goes up to 2,000 metres, which is going to suit him no end.
Who you gave an enormous push to at almost double figure odds last start. Well done.
Thanks, mate. That's the last winner I backed, I think. Look, I've been on him every start bar his first start. He's a horse I've been on. I hope he can continue to improve. Look, Great House, you could not have backed him looking at him in the yard the other day before the race. I know he beat some bad horses, but he's only got to improve. These 2 horses are certainly going to be very hard to beat here with no weight on the back. I'm going for Skylab because he came up on the inside in the worst part of the track, and just hoping that that he can continue that upward spiral.
Great House is a painful. Like I loved it that last start where it was double nommed again, and it would have put away a bunch of walkers in Victoria because it was here, and Rob and Mark didn't like it enough, so I just sort of went around without us. Not as bad as yesterday though. I took an hour out to be a good person and a good father, and took my son for a bike ride. I bet from like 1 p.m. yesterday till about 9:30 at night. Took an hour off. That's when Pistol Pete found an $80 winner at fucking Bunbury. Like seriously. Oh, sorry, Cotchin.
Yeah. I think there's 3 chances in this race, the 2 mentioned, and a $17 chance in Dame Kiri. Now, I mentioned her in the review show after she chased Shared Ambition, Mount Popper, and All Time Legend, who are nice horses, the 3 of those, and she closed up really well behind them. That might have been her. She's been up for a while. That might have been her, and she's out to 2,000, so that might just knock her out, but just have to be on her at $17 on the strength of that performance. And of the 2 big guns in the race, I'm also leaning to Skylab. I had to give him a really big tick for that win last time. That was race 9 on a day when the fence was no good. Just, when it should be at its worst of its worst, and it railed up and won. It was a really good win. Stays on 52 kilos. We'll win better races than this, I'm quite sure. And Great House can win, don't get me wrong, but I just thought with the price differential as well, you're getting a much bigger price Skylab. I'll be on him, and I'll be on Dame Kiri, and if Great House wins, it wins.
So, how would you handle this, Mark Shean? Like, you're a young bloke, you got $100 here to bet. Do you have the 100 straight on Skylab at the 480, or do you have 50 on and 50 on Great House just to keep your bank and roll on?
No, it'd probably be on Skylab each way.
Yep. Okay.
I'd probably play that.
Yep. True. All right, boys. Beautiful work. What's our best and value for the day for the punter at home, please?
Best. Look, I think it's a tricky day because of the we're not really sure what sort of track we're going to get, but I think Skylab will be very hard to beat. I think it's a cat will win the last. I think it. I can stop them, Jamie Carr and Rachel King. I can stop them.
I might have had a hand in that too, mate. Like, just put your head straight, you know. Like
everyone tells me, like she rides every winter. I've come into one. There's a cat. Anyway, look, he got left exposed up the straight. I don't think he's the sort of horse who relishes being on speed like that. I think he'd be much better with a sit. I know he's a bit skinny now at about 260, but he does look into a good spot. So I think Skylab's a cat for me. And I think if the track isn't too bad, I think Sweet Deal, looks to have all favours in that race. But a tricky day with the track.
I think there's a lot of money in trusting the form in the SP out of straight races when they fail for whatever reason and they get back around a bend anywhere.
Yep. Agree with that. I'm going that 2-horse play. I like the look of in race 8, Skylab Dame Kiri. And yeah, depending on the yard, I think 10-1 Montefilia, if that price holds up, is a must bet as well.
All right, boys, beautiful work. As always, support the show, support us. Head to the mailbag.com.au, get Rob Scurry's Mounting Up Mail or Mark Rhoden's full set. Where else will you be betting, my man?
Canterbury tonight, Randwick Newcastle tomorrow. And my Tuesday. So
we're back in love with Canterbury, aren't we, Mark Shean? Or are we still off it?
Canterbury is racing much better. Kensington has taken over from Canterbury as the Blazing Saddles quicksand on the inside.
Till Monday, that's us. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you win. Bye-bye.